going to do now, you poor thing? I mean, have you any ideas at all? Well, don't worry, because help is on the way. I am getting together with 7 of today's best-selling authors, and we're going to write the next chapter in your life. Oh, lucky girl! Just think of the possibilities.
Princess Diana, the next chapter. Coming up next, only on Romance Classics.
Listen, Di, get your servant to mark the date down in your calendar. Princess Diana. She's young, she's beautiful, and possibly the most recognized face in the entire world. Princess Diana. With her recent divorce from Prince Charles, she received $23 million, which pleased her greatly until she found out it was not $23 million a week. Now, Diana has the money, the means, and the freedom to do anything she chooses. What will Diana do, and how can she find happiness, or can she find happiness? We are not content to wait around like the rest of you to find out if Diana's going to make her moves and what moves they're going to be. And that's why we've asked 7 of the best-selling women writers in the entire world to come up with a fictional next chapter on Princess Diana's life. Olivia Goldsmith gave up a high-profile career in management consulting to pursue her dream of writing a novel. First Wives Club, a satirical look at New York's trophy wives, has become a blockbuster movie. Ms. Goldsmith's newest novel is Marrying Mom. Barbara Taylor Bradford, one of the most glamorous as well as one of the hardest-working novelists on the scene today. She has published 13 novels. Miss Bradford's most recent novel, A Secret Affair, was published in October 1996. Next, Jackie Collins. Her 15 novels have never been out of print. Her new novel, Vendetta, Lucky's Revenge, is a continuation of her books, Chances and Lucky. Nancy Friday is the author of 7 books. Miss Friday's latest publication is The Power of Beauty, which examines how looks affect our lives and how life affects our looks. Rona Jaffe burst onto the literary scene at the age of 26 with her first best-selling novel, The Best of Everything. Miss Jaffe has written 15 books, including her most recent work, The Cousins. Tama Janowitz is best known for her quirky first novel, Slaves of New York, which perfectly captured the feeling of New York City in the 1980s. Her latest book, By the Shores of Gitche Gumi, is a modern love story. Erica Jong is a poet, novelist, and essayist, best known for her 6 best-selling novels, including Fear of Flying. Her most recent book is Fear of 50, a blistering, funny midlife memoir. Unfortunately, Anne Rice cannot be here with us today. On her way to the studio, someone bit her on the neck. Sorry, Anne. Now, our mission is to create the fictional next chapter in Princess Diana's life. But every good story has a beginning, and here it is. She was born Diana Frances Spencer on July 1st, 1961, into a family so inbred that some say her mother was also her sister. She began dating Charles in 1980, and they had a lot in common because he also came from a family that was quite inbred. Rumor has it that his second cousin is a fox terrier. They married in 1981, and from the beginning she was so into fashion that as she walked down the aisle, Diana changed 3 times. However, from the start, there was a hint of trouble. When the minister said, "You may now kiss the woman you love," Charles bent over and kissed Camilla. But they did seem happy to the outside world. I'll never forget when Diana told Charles she was going to have a baby. She came running to the room and she said, "Darling, darling, guess what? The ermine died." Yes, they were happy and they were rich. The star on top of their Christmas tree was Mick Jagger, and she was never seen in the same outfit twice. Rumor had it she had her own personal dress shredder. As even Diana admitted, it was not such a hard job. She would get up, go shopping, eat lunch with her girlfriends, and just sit around and wait for her mother-in-law to die. But then, Fergie the tramp came into the picture. Fergie, the woman whose toes were in more mouths than the entire output of the M&M candy factory. I love that joke. Diana was living in a fishbowl and was getting rougher and rougher. I remember everything she did was a major event. One time I had to buy a ticket from a scalper just to watch her pelvic exam. Then rumors started. She wasn't happy. She wasn't happy. To everyone she kept saying, "I'm not happy, I'm not happy." She bitched so much she was finally asked to be poster girl for PMS. And the fights and the arguments, they became public. And then the tragic, shocking news. Charles and Diana were planning to be divorced, and like Madonna's knees, they would never be together again. All right, ladies? Are you telling me all of us had great first marriages? So she had a bad first marriage. We're all feeling so sorry for Diana. She had a bad first marriage. Okay, move on.
But how would you feel if your husband went off with Camilla?
I'd be shocked.
He never left her. I mean, he was always with Camilla.
You know, but she knew, Barbara, didn't she? She came from that background. She knew what's going on.
No, now, I'm going to correct you, and I'm going to be serious because we've been laughing, and Jackie will bear me out. Yeah. When he married her, he was not seeing Camilla.
Publicly.
For 2 days,
Not
right?
at all. No.
Right.
How do you know that?
Because I know somebody who's done a great deal of research on it, who's writing a book.
Behind the bushes?
But he wore the
No, Nancy, the whole world knows he was not. She drove him back there, I think, with her behavior.
But
and
don't
that's
you
when
think
it
that they came
started
from
again.
different generations in a way? I mean, he came from that old school, I'm going to be king, I can have as many mistresses as I want. He is actually the older generation's point of view.
Oh,
she was young, born in 1961, very romantic. She assumed that her husband was going to love her after marriage. So you really have a generational
But there
clash
are good May,
going
December marriages, so we hear.
Well, I think it's impossible. I think it's impossible to imagine how awful it was back in the early 80s when they got married. I was going through at that time the most horrible divorce of my life. I had a little 2-year-old daughter. And I remember Diana being held up as a symbol, see, romance works.
Yeah.
And there I am in Brown's Hotel in London crying my eyes out and drinking bottle after bottle of champagne and watching Di getting married in white on television and listening to all these people talking about how she's a virgin. And I'm thinking, I'm a freak.
The way you say that word, Erica.
Right. I'm a freak. I'm the only person in the world whose marriage doesn't work.
I've tried to make all of my books end happily with no woman and man being together, because that's, to me, a happy ending.
Exciting.
Because when you see these insane, you know, we watched that marriage, and it was a fairy tale.
Yeah,
and they had it all decked out in the, it wasn't great. It was mythic and a lie.
But to us, it was
See,
great.
Nobody,
it was
a
backlit.
big
I thought
lie.
it was all a lie,
It
too.
was a big lie.
Even
And
these-
she was the lamb brought into slaughter.
But
But it
they're
was.
there for a reason. The royal family is a PR tool, and they're there for a reason. We all watch, and we all want to go to England, and that's their job, and they get very well paid for it. They get their own chauffeur. They get a palace. They have a house with 119 bathrooms. They get a chauffeur and a car.
They only have to pay taxes optionally.
Exactly.
Different from us.
But it was
Look
a
how
great
hard it
romance.
is for her
I
to meet
don't think
somebody.
he went
No,
into
the
it.
romance.
No, I don't think he thought he was going to have mistresses. I think Prince Charles went into that marriage wanting it to work. And
So
I
what
mean that.
so
and
what
she
happened,
agrees,
Barbara?
don't
Yeah,
you,
no,
Jack?
but I think the romance.
I think it didn't work because there was this big gap between their personalities, their characters, and their age. She's not very bright.
No.
She might be pretty, but there's not much else up there. And he is rather intellectually inclined, is older. And I think also she was anorexic.
And
bulimic,
bulimic, right.
and all of the other things, and I think it didn't work because they were ill-suited.
I think that the romance was there, but the romance was between him and Camilla. He
I agree
always
with you,
had
Jackie.
lust in his heart for Camilla. It's not like he's gone out and got laid all over the place.
He says that now.
There's this one
Camilla was
woman.
his first
He's had this
girlfriend,
lust
wasn't
for this
she?
one woman.
And he missed that. He was afraid to ask her to marry him, and she accepted someone else's offer.
Olivia, let's start with you. She's divorced. She's single. Perfect question for you to tell us. Is she going to be like every other single mom running around being divorced? What's going to be different in her life?
Oh, well, I mean, for a start, she didn't get very much money. $23 million for a princess is not very much. I mean, Ivana got, I think, $23 million, and, you know,
She's working.
That's right.
Yeah.
So she's going to have to work. I think probably her best bet would be to come to America, and maybe she could do the sequel to First Wives Club, because is she not the first wife of the universe? I mean, this is a cosmic first wife. She could star in it. And Fergie, we know, for $50, Fergie would play something in the...
For 25, she'll be in your hotel room.
You know, the thing is, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out $23 million conservatively invested in risk-averse investments, the kind that I like.
Yes.
What does that get you a year, and could I live on it?
About $1 million.
$1 million a year?
live on
No.
it.
But she's got those boys.
There's no way
Traveling.
that you can live on $1 million a year if you're Diana.
No.
Now, if you had imagination and you were Diana, you could have a wonderful second half of life. For example, you could give all that money away and go and work in
Yes,
Mother
but she's
Teresa's
not going
orphanage.
No.
No way is she going to do that.
Mother Teresa never wore Chanel.
Otherwise, her plot lines are very cliched, I think.
She can write a book about her experiences.
Well, she probably doesn't even know who she is yet.
How could she write a book?
We don't want anyone else writing books.
No, there are
Girls from writing books.
no more books.
She has her day job.
We don't need
I think what she should do is, first of all, come to America. After she does the First Wives Club movie, she'd do all the talk shows. She gets so tired of talking about this heartbreaking experience she went through, she would only want to listen for the rest of her life. But someone would come to her and ask her to do a talk show. Ever happened to you?
No.
Anyway, make a long story short, she does the talk show, but she doesn't do a talk show. She does a listening show. Because she's the Queen of Hearts. You know, that's what she wanted to be.
What about dating? What do you think about dating? Who can she date? All of you ladies, who can she go out
The
with?
future has to include some real love, and I think it has to include revenge and, yes, more money. And I think if I were to choose somebody for her, she's a girl of the future, right? I'd choose the internet. I would see her, I see her like going after Bill Gates. She'd get rid of the current wife. She can do
She
that.
doesn't have to get married, let's face it.
She'd get Bill Gates, and then like in a fairy tale, she'd kiss the ugly guy, and he'd turn into a handsome prince, and he'd be so besotted with his image, he wouldn't care about the money. He'd give it all to her, and he'd go around looking at the mirrors all the time. She'd be free of him.
But don't
imagine being beautiful when you've looked like Bill Gates all your life.
Oh, but don't you think that she wants true romance? She can't. She's had how many affairs has she had so far?
We don't really
About-
don't know how
about.
many affairs she's had.
Three?
There's
at
this
least.
Hewitt guy with the helmet. But, you know, affairs with Englishmen don't count. They really, really prefer each other to
No,
anything
that's
that we
absolute
might
nonsense.
do.
No, Englishmen are very, very sexy. I have to say
Yes,
that
they
Englishmen
are.
are the sexiest
Some
men
Englishmen
around
are
because
very
they have a
sexy.
great sense of humor. And I
I
think
just
what she
want-
needs
They
is a man
talk
with a
a
great
lot
sense of humor.
about sex in a very
I'd like
funny
to
way.
know if you
That's
know
for
the
sure.
wrong English.
Either she can get involved with a much, much younger man, or she can get involved with a great entrepreneur like Ron
She
Perelman
likes the
or
pretty
somebody
boys.
like
She
that.
likes good-looking men.
Yeah,
If
she
you look at
does.
all the men she slept with, they were all athletic and good-looking. She likes the pretty boys. She's not going to go for the rich guy.
But wait, you can't get money and pretty in
No.
the same package.
No.
So, I mean, this woman
I
has a
don't know.
problem.
I don't know.
Everybody is always
There's surgery
writing
today,
about
you
it.
know.
If she has an affair with somebody, he's usually writing about it afterwards or selling it to the
Can
tabloids.
she trust anybody?
She can, I mean, if I was her, I wouldn't be able to trust anybody. I'd be so scared that if there weren't cameras or somebody out the window, that he's going to take notes and he's going to go and
Wasn't
write
he
about
a
it.
bastard? The one
I don't
that
think she
Oh,
trust
terrible.
anybody.
I don't think she
Disgusting.
should trust anybody. I mean, the thing is, if she goes with somebody English, well, it's just public on the public record, every move they make. But I do have a plan. I can't see her with an American or somebody English, and she's, how many kings are there out there? I think maybe some kind of nomadic Mongolian guy on a,
Genghis
with
Khan?
the, yeah, that type, and he's on a camel, and he has to herd yaks, and she's out there. It's
You
the
know
desert.
the fantasy of most women who've been famous for a long time? And I've heard this from many, many women. They say, how did you meet your new husband? You know, the number 9th one. And they say, I met him on a train or on a plane. He didn't even know who I was.
Well, that's
So
ain't gonna happen to
what I
Diana.
think that's
Diana,
gonna happen.
That
somebody-
means
You'd have to be a
Stevie
monk.
Wonder.
You're wrong.
Stevie Wonder, that's it.
Stevie Wonder is perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Erica, you're right, because I did some research before this, and I got my PR woman to send me as many clippings from England in the last 6 months that she could on what's been happening to Diana. And in fact, there was one marvelous little story. She had been walking in Regent's Park with a couple of people, 2 friends, and she spoke, and followed by security, of course, and she spoke to a man and his child. The child was weeping, and she spoke to the child and comforted it and walked on. And he said, thank you very much, and he didn't even know who she was.
Miss, whatever your name
Yes,
is.
thank you.
There,
Thank
it's like
you.
the
You should
Roman
go back and
holiday
find
pass.
I mean,
Yes,
that
I
sounds
think
like that sounds like the English
She
press
would
making
have,
Oh,
something
well,
up.
she would have to get somebody that's coming out of prison.
Oh, you're
You know?
suggesting she, yeah,
I I think he has to be rich because
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think
Yeah.
when a man, just as with anybody else, men are like anybody else, that leaves we women. I think if she doesn't marry a man who's rich, he's going to like her money in the beginning. He's going to he's going to have to like it or he wouldn't want to be around her. All the publicity, but in time, he's going to ask himself, why her and not me?
Envy throws love out the window.
No, she could have a great time being single.
Why
She's got
is
all
she
that
getting
money.
married?
Can't she have a great time? Can't
But
she?
he's not married, he
How
doesn't.
can she have a great time? I mean, I can't call up. I have a cousin who's a dentist who's really terrific. I can't say, Diana,
Right away, he's laughing.
I want you to meet Bernie. You know,
But here's what she should do. She is the Jacqueline Kennedy of
Yes,
England.
right.
That's what she is. Jacqueline Kennedy was very smart. She had that mourning period. She had all the money, but she went for even more. And an older man who would look after her. And that's what Diana should do. She should find this old billionaire who's going to look after her, be thrilled, buy her anything she wants.
The new hero of the romance novel, I've been told by people in the biz, is the new hero talks. Women want someone to talk to them and ask them questions. They say that is the new hero. He has time, he has lots of money, the new hero, and therefore he has time to talk with her. And he spends time with her. So
Now-
I think, who's been talking to Di recently? What Di?
which brings up a very good point. Does Diana need a man to be happy?
See, this is a girl who already, starting out, has a totally dysfunctional childhood, this poor bulimic thing. She gets married. Before she's married, they make her go on a diet and take ballet and stuff to have a good posture. They already tell her you're not pretty
Terrible
enough.
posture.
It was probably worse.
Worse.
So then, after they've told her you're not pretty enough, what family takes a girl in to marry their son and does a beauty makeover on her? Usually they make their own.
First they do
Who would want those in?
Wait a second, wait a second. The family didn't do the beauty makeover. She did the beauty
The
makeover.
family
They
put her on
thought
a
she was
diet.
hot. Compared to the way they dress,
Exactly.
she at least took her hat out of the box before she put it on. I mean, what is-
But she has a big problem because she has very low self-esteem and very high self-esteem because the newspapers are always saying she's the most beautiful woman in the world, which she's not. She's
No.
a very attractive girl.
But she needs
she's
a
not.
nose job.
Yeah. And then she has this low self-esteem because everybody's saying, you know, she's anorexic, she's just like out there.
Well, I
and
mean,
all
this-
these guys who sleep with her write about it.
And this is a woman who's never been loved.
When Diane goes to a public function, I was in one out in Chicago, and she was there, and the word went out throughout the land of Illinois that any man who wanted to dance with her that night had to fill 3 qualifications. He had to be over 6 feet tall, he had to know how to foxtrot and waltz, and he had to know how to take rejection.
No, had to be happily married.
Oh, and happily married.
Happily married.
Right. Oh, I forgot
Why?
the most important
Was this
one.
a written thing that you were
Yes,
doing?
I was at the same charity ball with her, and then she was dancing with all these fat old guys with cigars. And one of the women turned to me and said, "Look, isn't she having a wonderful time?" And I said, "When's she due to leave?" They said 10:30. I said, "Watch, 10:30.01, she was gone." So maybe there was somebody upset, but
Well,
who
did
would
the
it
man
be?
put the cigar down when he was dancing with
Oh
her?
yes, with the breath. You know, how you doing?
I feel very sorry for her. I really, really do. And I don't know what she's going to do. And I think she's in a no-win, which is, you know, so unusual for women nowadays.
Do you think
I feel sorry for her.
I don't feel sorry for her. Is revenge, you think,
I
almost
think
a
so,
home run?
It has to
absolutely.
be. It has
Revenge
to
is
be.
great.
I don't think she's going to get married again. I don't think she's going to marry a billionaire and move to America. I think she's going to stay in England and wait until William is king and she can be the great matriarch and get her revenge.
What revenge?
is
could she-
revenge.
What could she do for revenge? What could she do? She
Well,
can't.
she'll be a great power
Yeah.
because she'll be the woman behind the throne.
Exactly.
That's right, he loves
the
her.
matriarch. He could take
She's
She's
got to
so
get back
lucky.
at the
She's a good
Windsors.
mother,
The
he
Windsors
loves
have been
her.
very
Look, he's
bad to
already
her.
shown.
power
Oh,
do
he's
they
already
have?
shown he's got guts, Prince William. When her title was taken away, you know, her Royal Highness, she's simply Princess Diana now. When that title was taken away, Prince William said, "But it really doesn't matter, Mummy." And it doesn't, because he's going to give it back to her when he's king, right? And she'll be her Royal Highness again.
The only guy you can trust.
Your son.
Oh, do you think she's going to wire him? Do you think she's already conditioning him to be...
No, I think you're making her too clever for that. I don't think she's...
I think you're underestimating her. I think she's smart. She hasn't shown the brain she's really got. She's saving it.
Oh, I don't think.
Better hurry.
She's smart. No. I was in London when she gave that first interview, and the streets, they were empty. Everyone was home watching, and if you watched it, It was very, very moving and either beautifully rehearsed and very clever indeed, or else she found clever people to help her do it. And both. She gets credit in either case.
She has an amazing actor's instinct.
Yes.
I mean, you wouldn't call her clever. You would really call her feral.
Or shrewd.
Or
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but she's an amazing character in that way.
Absolutely.
And she feeds off the public attention.
And her PR people are brilliant. Do you remember when she left Charles and she was sitting in front of the Taj Mahal alone? And they had that, who got the picture? There were obviously thousands of photographers going, click, 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 click. Get out of the way, bitch. She's very, where Charles is not. Charles needs a big PR group behind him now.
She always manages to outshine him somehow. She's very manipulative with the press, actually.
And if she's photographed with another woman, the other woman is usually sort of running along like with her head back of her head. Or she's fat. She does, I think she's hiding it all. She's saving it. She's going to come out, and we're all going to be surprised. I hope so. I think she's got great potential.
No, no, no. Listen, it's a new time. Women are angry. I think revenge is great, but we just don't, we don't have time for it. You got to move forward. I
think she should stay away from America because, in this country we had a revolution more than 200 years ago, and it was to get rid of the British, and we didn't want to pay them money for drinking tea. So we really shouldn't have her over in this country.
I
don't think
disagree.
she's fit in.
You would love to have her here. You would give anything to have her
This country has
here.
gone on the wrong track.
We love royalty.
We got rid of them for a reason. I don't even drink tea. I wouldn't even mind paying tax on tea. But having made that decision that we're not going to pay tax on tea to the British, no, she's not going to fit in over here.
Leave England because she won't dare take the chance that her two sons will become under the influence, more than they already are, of their father, Prince Charles, and the royal family, which is totally dysfunctional because the Queen left the kids to be brought up by Prince Philip because she was very busy with her work.
We know what he was doing at the Profumo affair.
Well, the
He was the
point is,
waiter.
I don't think Diana will leave England. I mean, I'm being serious now, but she won't.
Well, she won't because she doesn't want to leave her children. I mean,
doesn't
no,
want to leave
no
her
mother
children.
wants to leave her children.
Will they let the children come?
No,
Never.
no, they're not allowed to leave
Never.
England.
Never.
I mean, they can go on a vacation,
Maybe
but
they
they
could
have to
ship
live in
some
England.
Mongolians into London.
Let's wrap this up. Let's go down the line with everybody. Let's start with Rona and just say, Chapter 2.
Oh, wow. I think that she's going to be very happy being single because from all the women I know who've been divorced or have never been married, they're always complaining they can't meet enough men. So I think she will always meet as many men as she wants, and some will be horrible, like the ones we all meet, and some of them will be nice, like the ones sometimes we meet. So she can go on and do that, and then her son will be king, and then she can have power.
Okay. Erica.
There's going to be fireworks when Di finds a potent man.
Let's hope it's not the room service waiter.
What does she mean by that?
I think that's the main complaint of most famous women.
Yeah.
I meet a lot of men, but they're all impotent.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that if it's true for those of us who are moderately famous, like the women in this room, then it must be even more true for somebody like Princess Di.
It's very hard to be manly when you had to perform for Princess Diana. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
And when she finds such a person, it's going to turn her life upside down.
Yeah. Did mine. I can't remember, but I think it did mine. Tama.
Well, Joan, I really like camels.
I know. You really.
Well.
And I do think she could be happy with some sort of, well, a chieftain that was good at camel training.
Oh.
She means an exotic lover, right? Somebody
He
totally
doesn't
out of
speak
her
English.
range.
Somebody who doesn't speak English.
She's not that dumb.
It's like Lawrence of Arabia time. A guy in a black stallion coming along.
Who else is going to add up to this princely dream to sweep her off on a horse? I mean, there's only one or two princes out there.
Yeah. Okay, Nancy, what do you think is going to happen?
I think she's going to meet somebody like a John Perry Barlow. You know John Perry Barlow? Sort of the prince of the internet. And he's attractive and he can talk. He used to write lyrics for the Grateful Dead. And she's going to become Cyber Di. Now that's going to be...
Cyber Di. I tend to agree with Erica and Rona that she will have her relationships and have affairs. I don't think she'll remarry. I think she's waiting until William's on that throne and she can have her revenge to
That'd be
all
a long
those who...
time.
Not necessarily. I mean, Charles could drop dead tomorrow. And
Yes.
so could
We
Bill.
don't know.
You know, we don't know what can happen in life. But even if it's 10 or 20 years from now, if it's 20 years from now, she'd only be 55.
She'll still be looking great.
Yes. So I think the revenge, and I think she'll have a good time in the meantime.
Jackie, what would you say?
I think she's had very bad luck with men. She had a husband who was in love with another woman. She had a lover who wrote about her in a book. So I think she should turn to women. I think she should get a fabulous, great-looking female lover, a live-in lover.
That's an idea.
Stay in the palace or wherever she's going to live. Wait till her son becomes king. And that is really revenge because the queen will be very pissed off.
And Olivia.
Well, I still say it's the coming to America, doing the sequel, becoming the talk show host, the listening show hostess.
Listening show.
I think those two are meant to be. And it'll take care of all her needs, all the needs, girls, we've been talking about.
What about the whole thing? Will they keep following around the press? Will it die down? That
No.
you get a little bored?
No,
No.
it'll never die down. It'll
Never
be
die down.
aging Di getting older. Everything Di does is going to be photographed.
They're our favorite
That's the
dysfunctional
last
family.
headline. Die dies.
Yeah.
That's the last one.
Bye-bye, die.
Bye-bye, die. I think we've had some very diverse answers here. All I know is I don't know what's going to happen to her. I do know one thing. Diana will not be getting a birthday card from Camilla this year. But I sincerely hope she will finally get what she's never had in Buckingham Palace, ever, 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 and that's central heating and a sex life. I want to thank all of you so much. It was terrific. And what can I say? Princess Diana's story has captured all of our hearts and all of our imagination, and time will tell whether truth is stranger than fiction. For Romance Classics, I'm Joan Rivers. Thank you for watching. Thank you, ladies, very much.
Thank you.
Revenge is a continuation of her books, Chances and Lucky. Nancy Friday is the author of 7 books. Miss Friday's latest publication is The Power of Beauty, which examines how looks affect our lives and how life affects our looks. Rona Jaffe burst onto the literary scene at the age of 26 with her first best-selling novel, The Best of Everything. Miss Jaffe has written 15 books, including her most recent work, The Cousins. Tama Janowitz is best known for her quirky first novel, Slaves of New York, which perfectly captured the feeling of New York City in the 1980s. Her latest book, By the Shores of Gitche Gumi, is a modern love story. Erica Jong is a poet, novelist, and essayist, best known for her 6 best-selling novels, including Fear of Flying. Her most recent book is Fear of 50, a blistering, funny midlife memoir. Unfortunately, Anne Rice cannot be here with us today. On her way to the studio, someone bit her on the neck. Sorry, Anne. Now, our mission is to create the fictional next chapter in Princess Diana's life. But every good story has a beginning. What are you going to do now, you poor thing? I mean, have you any ideas at all? Well, don't worry, because help is on the way. I am getting together with 7 of today's best-selling authors, and we're going to write the next chapter in your life. Lucky girl, just think of the possibilities.
Princess Diana, the next chapter. Coming up next, only on Romance Classics.
Listen, Di, get your servant to mark the date down in your calendar. Princess Diana. She's young, she's beautiful, and possibly the most recognized face in the entire world. Princess Diana. With her recent divorce from Prince Charles, she received $23 million, which pleased her greatly until she found out it was not $23 million a week. Now, Diana has the money, the meat, as even Diana admitted, it was not such a hard job. She would get up, go shopping, eat lunch with her girlfriends, and just sit around and wait for her mother-in-law to die. But then, Fergie, Fergie the tramp came into the picture. Fergie, the woman whose toes were in more mouths than the entire output of the M&M candy factory. I love that show. Diana was living in a fishbowl and was getting rougher and rougher. I remember everything she did was a major event. One time I had to buy a ticket from a scalper just to watch her pelvic exam. Then rumors started. She wasn't happy. She wasn't happy. To everyone she kept saying, I'm not happy, I'm not happy. She bitched so much she was finally asked to be poster girl for PMS. And the fights and the arguments, they became public. And then the tragic, shocking news. Charles and Diana were planning to be divorced, and like Madonna's knees, they would never be together again. All right, ladies? Are you telling me all of us had great first marriages? And here it is. She was born Diana Frances Spencer on July 1st, 1961, into a family so inbred that some say her mother was also her sister. She began dating Charles in 1980, and they had a lot in common because he also came from a family that was quite inbred. Rumor has it that his second cousin is a fox terrier. They married in 1981, and from the beginning she was so into fashion that as she walked down the aisle, Diana changed 3 times. However, from the start, there was a hint of trouble. When the minister said, "You may now kiss the woman you love," Charles bent over and kissed Camilla. But they did seem happy to the outside world. I'll never forget when Diana told Charles she was going to have a baby. She came running into the room and she said, "Darling, darling, guess what? The ermine died." Yes, they were happy and they were rich. The star on top of their Christmas tree was Mick Jagger, and she was never seen in the same outfit twice. Rumor had it she had her own personal dress shredder. And the freedom to do anything she chooses. What will Diana do, and how could she find happiness, or can she find happiness? We are not content to wait around like the rest of you to find out if Diana's going to make her moves and what moves they're going to be. And that's why we've asked 7 of the best-selling women writers in the entire world to come up with a fictional next chapter on Princess Diana's life. Olivia Goldsmith gave up a high-profile career in management consulting to pursue her dream of writing a novel. First Wives Club, a satirical look at New York's trophy wives, has become a blockbuster movie. Ms. Goldsmith's newest novel is Marrying Mom. Barbara Taylor Bradford, one of the most glamorous as well as one of the hardest-working novelists on the scene today. She has published 13 novels. Miss Bradford's most recent novel, A Secret Affair, was published in October 1996. Next, Jackie Collins. Her 15 novels have never been out of print. Her new novel, Vendetta, Lucky's Revenge,